Whoa, bro, you got a Maserati. Aren't those things piles of crap? Wrong. Let's take a look at Mrs. Wizard's Maserati Levante. So many of you already know Mrs. Wizard drives this 2018 Maserati Levante Grand Sport, and it is an excellent vehicle. It's been trouble-free. We're going to do an ownership report. We've had it for a year now and talk about how well we've liked it. It's done very well.
Wait. You've owned a car for a year?
No, you did.
That's true. I do keep my cars longer than you.
Sadly, I've received, through some of my customers here in the shop, them just driving around, a lot of Maserati bashing. I'm actually astounded and surprised. When Mrs. Wizard drives us around, there's a lot of looks like, wow, check that out, it's a Maserati. But then you actually buy one and they say, you're a moron, those are piles of trash. What? No, they're not. There was actually a car group in the Wichita area I was a member of. I am no longer. I intentionally left or voluntarily left the group over Maseratis. Actually, there was a post in the group showing pictures of some of the Maseratis in the local area, and people were just bashing them. Just, this person's an idiot. That person's a moron for buying that car, and just, they must not have any brains, and things like that. And I got to looking, and these cars were some of my top customers. They're really nice people, really great people. I enjoyed doing business with them. And I tried to stand up for them, and instead of saying, hey, sorry, Car Wizard, they started to bash Mrs. Wizard's car. And there's another customer that also is here. He has the silver Ferrari. He also left the group the same day as well, because he has one of these. And I was chatting with him. I was like, do we really want to be a member of a group of these childish morons? They obviously are misinformed. They don't know what they're talking about. There's no such thing as a perfect car. We know Toyotas and Lexuses are really good cars, but they're not perfect. They have problems as well. We bought this car with less than 20,000 miles. It was closer towards 15, and now we're at what, 40?
a little north of that, 45.
40, we're getting close to 50,000 miles. Mrs. Wizard puts a lot of miles on her vehicles. And the only thing we've replaced was the brake pads up front and a set of tires, which the tires are no surprise. They usually last about 36 miles, original stock factory tires. And other than that, and oil changes, it has never left us stranded. We haven't even seen a warning light. People say, oh, you buy those cars and after a year or two and there's always warning lights and things are broken. That has not been our experience. It has been as reliable as if we bought a Lexus. It has been that good. So we're going to take a look around it and compare it to the last time that we filmed it. We'll also let Mrs. Wizard show you around the interior, and then we'll check out the underneath.
Sorry, Wizards, you're going to be disappointed. There's not going to be much change between this video and the last.
No, but the view you guys are seeing really makes people smile, puts a smile on their faces when we pull up to a restaurant or a store to go shopping and they see the Trident up front and they're like, wow, that is cool. This is the Grand Sport package as mentioned, and no scrapes, no dents, just as clean as the day we bought it. Mrs. Wizard takes care of her vehicles. You can see it says Q4, that is the all-wheel drive, and it is Levante. Again, no damages, nothing's been hurt on this car since we've had it.
Mind you, I don't drive it in bad weather. Like you have your Acura now, I do have the RAV4 to drive in, bad weather.
Yep, we have vehicles for bad weather. It has a set of Michelins on it. I don't know what the original tires were, but I didn't cheap out and put triangle tires on a Maserati. I put Michelins. We just got done doing an oil change. Actually, Danielson did it for us. The oil filter is right there. It is a 3-liter twin-turbo V6, around 350 horsepower and like 380 pounds of torque. It's very fast, isn't it, Mrs. Wizard?
It does have some pep when you need it.
Danielson informs me that this engine is the same architecture of the California T Ferrari. So that's pretty cool. It's a Ferrari-based engine. Is it a true Ferrari engine? No. No, it's not. Maserati has indicated that they will no longer be using Ferrari-based engines. I think they're designing their own engines now. But this one has given us zero trouble. Not even an oxygen sensor. Nothing. It's been a very, very good engine. As you can see, it's very easy to work on. Even though it's twin turbo, it's not all bogged up with pipes and hoses and hard to get to. You can see the belts down there are easy to get to. There we have some vacuum lines, purge valve, things like that, and our intake manifold. All the coils are very easy to get to. They just pop right out. And get to spark plugs or do whatever you need to do. Very easy to work on engine. So we'll go ahead and let you guys take a look at the interior and see how it's held up since the last time you've seen it.
Well, before we step inside, ladies and gents, why don't we take a look at how this door opens. The window is down because it's in the shop. Notice that it opens up a lot like a coupe car by not having all the window architecture. So when you, with the windows down, there's nothing here in the way. There's no window structure around it. That's one interesting thing that the car does have. Let's crawl inside. So as you see, it does say that it does have 44,762. So I was a few hundred miles off from that 45,000 that I said, but it'll be there because this is my daily driver. Now, right now it doesn't have any warning lights, but the only light that does come up, there was one that does come up, and when it is 39 degrees outside, I get a warning for ice. I'm not sure if ice freezes at a higher temperature in Italy, but nonetheless it says it comes on at 39 degrees. It always throws us off, but now we're used to it. We hear bing, we're like, ice on road warning, great. But as we slide up, this does have a two-tone leather dash. It does have the red with the black stitching, and then it has the lovely black in the center. And to be honest, it was a little bit much when we first got the car, but now that we've had it a while, we're pretty well used to it. It does smell like a leather store in here. The seats are also the red leather, and they have nice bolsters on the sides. As we scroll to the center console, we'll see that it does have the simple touchscreen, simple navigation structures, and as I understand that this is very much like what you would see in some American cars. And I get that. I understand that making parts unique to every single model of every single car gets kind of tedious, so I understand sharing between models. It does have a simple gear shift where you click back here behind and then you can just tap it down and back. It does have a few modes to select from. Obviously the sport mode is fun, but it does drink the gas a whole lot faster, so you kind of have to watch that one as well if you're playing in that mode. Haven't done a lot of off-road, definitely haven't done a lot of ice driving because again, I like my car and notice that it has been dent-free. It does have piano black covering the center area, and they just simply slide open. See, we've got the keys resting in there. I've got some lovely little Maserati coasters inside the cup holders. So maybe other than a little dust in there, not too exciting. In the back, you'll also see we have red seats, and normally there is a Alcantara covered tray covering the trunk area, but this is my daily driver and I do haul things occasionally, and I had to take it out. So it's currently out. It's still in great condition though. As we see the ceiling, you can see the roof of our shop, and notice that it is Alcantara lined. And as much as I have to remind Wizard to not pet my Alcantara, it is still in good shape. Got simple controls up here, controlling the openable sunroof. Also just to put the shade down as well, garage door openers, lights, fun things like that. All controls that we are used to seeing in the overhead console. As we slide back to our steering wheel again, mind you, it is turned because the wheels are turned, but there is the lovely trident in the center with some great grip on the steering wheel. And even though the speedometer says 190 miles an hour, we haven't got there, but I think this little girl would get up and do it. Let's get this up in the air.
Many of you watch another YouTube channel called Video Bob. You guys will check him out. His channel is amazing. He has so much cool content. Really cool guy, really nice guy. But he really loves the colors red and black on his vehicles, in his house, wherever, all kinds of things that deal with him. And when I sent him pictures of the interior of this car, it was an instant thumbs up. He said, that is Video Bob approved. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So, as Mrs. Wizard mentioned, some of the buttons, some of the things are Chrysler oriented. There are some things that are shared across multiple platforms. That could be something someone could try to bash this car with, but you could also bash a Lamborghini for having Volkswagen Audi switches and Volkswagen parts. Does that mean a Lamborghini is a pile of trash or undesirable? No. In fact, I'm glad it's that way, because if some of these parts break, there may be parts I can source cheaper from a Chrysler product and replace it and be just fine. If you guys remember, Mrs. Wizard used to have a Land Rover Discovery. It was about, what was it, a 2015? Yeah, 2015 Land Rover Discovery Sport. We did a water pump and a turbo actuator solenoid and various other things off of a Ford Escape and saved a lot of money. I don't have a problem with that at all. The engine and a lot of other things of this vehicle are very special. If some of the switches or some of the things interior are from lower level cars, I don't really mind that too much. It's not that big of a deal. There are many parts on this that are Maserati specific, the brake pads, or if there was a water pump or something we had to replace, they'll be very, very expensive. And again, we accept that because we know it's a Maserati. One thing to keep in mind, whenever you sit in this car, you can definitely tell it is not a Jeep Grand Cherokee. It doesn't smell like one, it doesn't drive like one, it has air suspension all the way around, it's very comfortable, very high end. By the way, the brake pads are very expensive for this car. With my wholesale cost, me doing the work, just the pads were $500 for a set of pads. But I get that. There are some nice things though. On Amazon, you can go and buy oil filters, air filters, cabin filters, all kinds of things for the Maserati family of vehicles, Quattroporte, Ghibli, and the Levante. They share a lot of those parts. And it saves a lot of money, and I can have it here in a day or two. So we just did the oil change on this, and we got the filters and everything off of Amazon, so it was really nice. This is also one of those cars, being that it's upscale, if there is a water pump go out or something that's specific to Maserati, you're not going to have the part in a day or two. It's probably going to take a couple of weeks. You better have a backup car. And we have backup cars. We have plenty of cars. So let's get this thing on the lift and see how it looks underneath after a year of ownership. So right above us is the radiator. It's kind of at an angle. And no leaks, nothing going on there. Everything looks good. And we have some panels here covering everything up. It just had a recent oil change, so there was a tiny little bit spilled here. Looks like it was wiped up and cleaned up. Brake pads are obviously like new because they are new. CV boots look good. Look at that girthy sway bar, guys. That is huge. Everything looks good there. Steering rack is nice and dry. The boot is. Brake pads again new. CV boots, very good. Steering rack boot, nice and dry. Strut, nice and dry. Everything looks good there. The tires are new. Here's our transmission. It is a ZF automatic. I believe it's an 8-speed. Zero trouble with that and no leaks. Everything looks good there. There's our exhaust, goes into our resonator. Everything looking good there. Plastic covers. Here's our fuel tank. Drive shaft is good. There's a differential. Those boots look good as well. Our air suspension looks to be intact. Brakes look good. Everything looks good there. Go to the other side. Brakes are good. Right height sensors intact. Sway bar link is good. Here we have the mufflers in the back, and they do have an electronic actuator, kind of like some of the Ferraris have, where you can push the sport mode and it'll make it a lot louder. There's the actuator here. You can see the little shaft there. You can see the little actuator arm. I'll move it. So really nothing bad going on under here. Everything is as clean or as nice as when we bought it. So let's get this thing on the ground. So contrary to popular belief, this thing has not been a pile of junk. It has not caused us really any trouble at all. We really enjoy it. It's almost paid off, and Mrs. Wizard says she has no intentions of getting rid of it anytime soon. She enjoys it so much. It's probably going to be around for quite a while longer, which is fine. It's a very nice vehicle. Although this thing's been very reliable, you cannot buy a Land Rover, a Maserati, a Bentley, or a Lamborghini or anything like that and drive it like it's a Lexus or Toyota and just have carefree to the wind attitude, just drive it, oil changes. You do have to somewhat pay attention when something starts to give you any indication there's an issue, like with the Land Rover. Mrs. Wizard smelled coolant a little bit. You need to immediately take care of it, because if you let the issues compound and get worse, 2,000 can turn to 5,000 to 10,000. It can get really expensive really fast. And just like I mentioned a minute ago, when things do go wrong with these cars, they're not 300 bucks, they're usually 3,000 bucks or more. But luckily Mrs. Wizard happens to know someone who runs an automotive shop that works on exotics and European cars. And so far I haven't even had to do anything to it. So hopefully it keeps up that track record. I really hope it does. But so far, with the year of ownership of this Levante, like I said, contrary to popular belief, it's been very good, very reliable. We are very happy with it. So if something does break on this car and you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to fix it, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut. And make sure to hit the subscribe button. You guys don't want to miss out on all the really cool cars and projects going on in the shop. Thanks for watching.